Lasya Shekhar, senior reporter from Citizen Matters. I will be moderating the session on rooftop panel today, rooftop solar panel. So, Tamil Nadu was the first state in the country to have brought a solar energy policy in 2012, thus introducing the net metering mechanism for rooftop solar panel. And today, the government aims at having an installed solar capacity of 9,000 megawatts by 2023. The aim is to bring out 40% of it through rooftop solar panels. So, yet, in spite of its ambitious policies, the state is lagging behind other states such as Telangana and Karnataka. And in a major setback to the uptake of the rooftop solar, we recently got a new policy in 2019, that is the solar energy policy of 2019. The policy has changed net metering mechanisms into tariff systems. So how does this impact? This is a move that discourages most of the residents to go solar. So how does this impact the whole system? And how much do we actually know about solar? And according to this new law, a consumer will be spending more when he goes solar. Like for example, let's just say if a consumer is generating 100 kilowatts of solar energy a month and consuming the whole of it, he wouldn't have to pay anything before the 2019 policy. But today, the same consumer would end up paying around 400 rupees because he cannot use the power he or she generates. They have to sell it back to the TNEB and buy it back at a higher price. So that is the law we have got. So is that the reason why a lot of people are discouraged to go solar? And how much do we actually know about solar? So these are some pressing issues, and that's what we aim to explore in the next 1.5 hours or so. So I welcome our panel. Um, we have in our panel D. Suresh, popularly called as Solar Suresh. He is a resident of Kilpauk, and Suresh has made his home self-sufficient, green and sustainable with a rooftop solar plant, biogas plant, terrace kitchen gardens, etc. He's a graduate of IITM and IIMA. He is also an advocate of solar energy and demonstrates practical sustainable living. Next in our panel, we have K. Vishnu Mohan Rao. Vishnu works at CAG Chennai on environment and energy related issues with a focus on regulatory law and economics and governance. He is also a member of Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum in Tamil Nadu Generation and Distribution Corporation. Next, we have Mr. N. Ramanathan. Ramanathan has vast experience in working with Ministry of Defense and Air Force, among other government agencies. He has been advocating solar energy for 10 years now. Next, we have an architect, Jayanti RV. She's a founder and principal architect of Coral Architects. She's passionate about creating environment-friendly buildings. She has more than 14 years of experience in architecture, sustainable design, building energy efficiency, green building certification, and project management in construction projects. So we thank you so much, all of you, for joining this webinar on rooftop solar. So this is an important topic, and we plan to explore more and break out the myths on solar energy. So I will start off with the basic questions on solar, and the questions is for the first question is for Solar Suresh sir. So, sir, how informed are Chennaites about rooftop solar? Sir, you are on mute, sir.
Practically nil. There is no mechanism or agency available today to disseminate information. One of the government bodies is TEDA. They are supposed to do it, but they themselves are in total disarray. So they are not in a position to create an awareness. So whatever is happening, it is happening because of individual efforts like your Citizen Matter, you are conducting the seminar, people are joining. So this is the major source of information. Another source of information is, of course, the newspaper, but there they misrepresent than represent. That's my personal experience.
Okay, so we know that you've been, sensitizing people about it. How has been your experience with it?
My individual experience has been excellent. Over 4,000 people have visited me. Every day, 3, 4 people come. I'm the most invited speaker today. I've addressed over 200, 300 talks. Even during the COVID period, weekly, twice I give a talk across India. Corporates, factories, Rotary clubs, Lions Club, industry associations, including nursery schools. I'm addressing, trying to create an awareness. I'm not in the business on a commercial basis. I don't charge any consultancy charges. I don't take any commission from vendors. My only role is to clear the myths, misconceptions, and fallacies which is surrounding solar activity, rooftop solar activity. And my focus is only on individual, smaller establishment, individual residences, schools, colleges, not the megawatt scale, ground mounted and supplying to the government. No, my focus is only on individuals and residences.
That's wonderful, sir. For those
1
who
minute.
don't know,
I've done more than 30, 40 installations ranging from half a kilowatt to 300 kilowatts. Mainly, average is about 3 to 4 kilowatts. That is the major segment. Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad. I've done even one in Himachal Pradesh, sitting in Chennai, 1 kilowatt. I've done it in rural Tamil Nadu, in Perungudi, Salem, Erode, Tirupur, Hosur, all these places. There's a reasonably good awareness is now slightly coming in, but they don't know the details.
great. So, sir, what are the most common myths when it comes to rooftop solar?
A, it is expensive. B, there is no subsidy. C, net metering is not favorable. These are all myths according to me. It's not at all expensive. It is affordable. I've demonstrated that a common man can do it. I am a common man. So it is affordable, it's economically viable, it can be done. That's the message I'm trying to communicate. I'm a doer, I've done it first. I installed it in January 2012. For 5 years before that, components were not available, knowledge was not available, vendors were not available. Even then, I went ahead and did it. Fortunately, the media covered me. So people got to know, they come and see me, they come and talk to me completely. So I demonstrated that this is a viable project. One can do it. Second myth, as you mentioned in your trial, this net metering policy. In fact, I was one of the persons responsible for net metering in Tamil Nadu. 5, 6 years ago, the TEDA chairman was a very proactive, very nice gentleman, Sudeep Jain. I discussed the matter with him. He took it up, and Tamil Nadu was the first state to introduce net metering. But that is just incidental. Net metering is not the objective of rooftop solar plant. We install rooftop solar plant for consumption, for saving electricity. And there are larger objectives, societal objectives like no pollution. I do not consume fossil fuels. I save foreign exchange for the country. Now, I do not talk about it in all my talks. Common man is not interested. He says, leave it to Narendra Modi, leave it to Merkel, leave it to Donald Trump. What is in it for me? That is the question. There is lots of things for a common man. There is no daily maintenance. You don't need separate wiring completely. Plus, most important, a common man is protected or insuring himself against future tariff increase. Panel life is 25 years. Government is going to increase the tariff. For example, when I installed it in January 2012, the tariff was 3 rupees a unit. Subsequently, it has increased to 575, then it was 660. Now it is 660. Tomorrow, make it 8 rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees. I'll have a good laugh. All of you will pay, I will not pay. So I will shoot myself. These are the benefits. This message has to be taken forward completely.
That's a wonderful point.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So let's just talk about the policy now, sir. Over to Vishnu, sir. What are the crucial points of the new solar energy policy 2019, and what are the loopholes in it? Sir, you're on mute.
The solar energy policy of 2019, the difference between the 12 and the 19th policy was basically shifting from a net meter system and net feed-in system. So that is the difference that we can see, because the net feed-in basically tells you that you can consume some amount of power, and whatever is you've not consumed or a surplus, you can sell it to the utility for getting some money. So the per unit cost according to TNRC is 2.03 euros, 03 rupees, I think.
2.38.
2.38, yeah. So that's the only difference in the rooftop solar policy. One additional bit which TNRC kind of brought in was the TANGEDCO brought in was the gross meter, was the
Feed-in
solar
tariff.
meter, check meter. Yeah, that solar meter that was kind of to be put in, but they have kept it in abeyance later on because it was physically impossible for consumers to actually put in. It had to be put near the meter, and people have to come and see it. Tariff coefficients had to come and see it. So these are all impossibilities at that point of time because of the cost involved in putting up such things. Other than that, there is in terms of loophole, there's nothing called a loophole here. I think what it basically you need to understand is the amount of incentive that you give to a consumer to kind of make them put in. So if you see Karnataka, they have a slightly higher tariff, for example, that makes it more attractive for a consumer to go ahead and put it in Karnataka. But I don't think, like Mr. Suresh was saying, it is not something that you need to look at that level, but it's more in the terms of, does it help you to take care of your daily electricity needs, and is it possible for you to kind of not pay let's say not pay your electricity bill at the end of the month. I think that's the way we see it in terms of this thing. If you are a kind of a big consumer of electricity, and then you're putting a rooftop solar, and you think you need to make a profit out of the whole business of it, then I feel then selling to the grid and making money is something that is intrinsic into the system that you want to do it as a business model. But I don't think on the whole there's um, nothing great. But one thing we all need to understand is that, see, when we put in a rooftop solar and we are becoming self-sufficient, the utility that is going to charge us loses money. So yeah, supposing I am putting a rooftop, I pay the utility every TANGEDCO every month or every billing cycle 5,000 rupees, and I am putting up a rooftop solar. Then what happens is the utility then loses that 5,000 rupees that is supposed to be their revenue. That is where the whole tension comes in, where the utility actually in the rules and regulations, the net meter is is owned by the utility. The net meter that is to be put for the export and import of power is owned by the utility, where they place it on your behalf, and then they do the calculated readings. So there could be possibilities where if the utility is not very open to the whole transition from your house moving from the electricity grid to to be self-sufficient, then there could be some resistance is what I see. Otherwise, there is nothing that prevents us from putting up a rooftop solar. And also the kind of tariff that the TNRC has given us. The TNRC basically gave us a tariff that does not have a methodology. So it just puts at 75% of the tariff of a competitive bidding price, which I don't want to get into the details because there are, but that is not the way you do tariffs. Basically, you put up a proper methodology where you put in the cost of every rooftop solar, what is the maintenance, what is the operations, how much does it install to put a solar panel, and based on that you get at a per unit cost of electricity. So that is not done. That is, if you say, that's a very serious loophole. As CAG, we have represented to the TNERC to ask them to relook the tariff for rooftop solar and put a proper methodology in place. We have sent that letter out. We hope then we get a proper reply, because tariff according to the regulatory system that is in the electricity sector, the regulator of electricity, Tamil Nadu Electricity Regulatory Commission, is supposed to put in the tariff in a proper format. So that is not done. Those are the only couple of things that I see as loopholes, so to speak. But I think otherwise I don't see this as I think the path for solar is always clear, provided there are these impediments that come in that only retard the process, rather than it only retards the process by maybe 5 years or so. End of the day, no utility can prevent this from happening. It is part and parcel of the whole energy transition we are always talking about. And the utility should take it upon itself as a business model, this whole rooftop solar business, rather than resist it. Yeah, that's what.
Okay. So you have mentioned about Karnataka. So the Karnataka tops first in solar power generation, we all know.
We have a Bangalore person here. I think she's better off speaking about Karnataka, I think.
Yes.
Your mic, sir. Mr.
Suresh, sir, please. You're on mute.
Whose turn is it?
Mr. Suresh?
No, I thought you wanted to add something to what Vishnu had said.
Are you asking me?
Who?
No,
Who are you
Suresh, sir.
asking us? Yeah.
I'm asking Suresh, sir.
This is a misconception that Karnataka is ahead on solar.
No.
They are ahead on solar because you take solar water heaters. There it is compulsory to get approval for individual house. We do not treat solar water heater as rooftop solar. That's a cottage technology. Everybody is doing it totally away. That's a solar thermal technology. What we are talking is solar photovoltaic technology. In that, Karnataka is nowhere ahead. Definitely no.
I will let Jayanti speak, and probably I'll add on to it since you asked me the question.
Okay, I will come to Jayanti.
Good.
I would like to ask Ramanathan sir about his experience. What do you feel about what Vishnu had said, sir?
As of today, the consumer is not benefited at all. See, they are buying electricity from you when you are not selling it. Who are there to buy it when you are not selling it? See, net metering is not there for all practical purposes. They calculate export separately, import separately, and then after converting into rupees, they deduct the export from import. So you end up paying a hell of a lot of money. See, I have not benefited at all. Actually speaking, net metering in principle, in practice, is not there. They don't even read the net meter reading. I had a fight with that AE who came home to read. He said, we don't read net metering at all. We only read import and export, and then go back and convert into rupees, tariff rate. That's not correct. See, that means I don't get to enjoy my power, which I generate for myself. I sell it to TNEB at 2 rupees 38 paise and buy it back at, if it is commercial, more than 10 rupees. Or if it is domestic, it's about 8 to 6 rupees or so.
Commercial, no, net metering is not allowed for commercial.
No, up to 10 kilowatts. Up to 10 kilowatts.
No, commercial not allowed. Only for domestic. Only
for
on grid,
LT,
not on
sir.
grid.
Even for up to 10 kilowatts.
No. Even for commercial tariff,
LT, sir,
no net
not
metering.
we don't say 10 kilowatts. LT connect. Sir, I think you're
Only
talking
LT.
about gross metering, sir. So,
No, gross metering is still not come.
That's what I
Basically, 1 minute, let me clarify. You are doing insulation for your self-consumption. You are not in the business of supplying electricity to government.
Correct.
So there is no question of selling it at 660 and buying it at 238. No. You install it, you consume it. You plan the capacity in such a way that you don't produce too much of excess for giving it. So you don't lose anything.
No, but that
Possible.
means only for commercial they are doing this, is it?
No. For commercial, there's no net metering. For commercial tariff, there's no net metering.
Actually, so I think, now let me just clarify, Professor Ramanathan. So what happened was, there was a system of parallel connections.
Okay.
So when there was this system where the utility, where TANGEDCO never gave net meters to commercial or industrial establishments, and they were asked to supply, they were supplying power basically for free to the utility. And then, like, it acted like a gross metering system. Basically, they sell the power without any metering system, and they bought back power at very high price. That
No, Vishnu, this is not solar. This is wheeling. I can produce it in Coimbatore,
Yeah,
sell it in
correct.
Chennai. That
No,
don't mix up at all. That is wheeling services.
No, I
Nothing
understand,
to do with the solar. No, you are mixing it up. Please do not mix up. That is not solar. No, sir, it's not solar. You are talking about wheeling. Totally different.
I agree, sir. It's open access wheeling, I agree, sir. But there was this particular situation of paralleling, sir.
Nothing, no, not with the solar. There's no parallel system with the solar.
There
Definitely.
was.
I'm
No,
saying,
There was the TANGEDCO passed an order.
Leave it there. That's my opinion. I'm very confident and very sure of what I'm talking. Leave it there. I will not dispute it.
Suresh, I was wondering why even for commercial up to 10 kilowatt they should not give net metering.
Sir, we have represented, CAG has represented. I have also party to that. Matter is lying with the court.
Okay.
Completely. TNERC is the authority, not TANGEDCO. TNERC has not yet decided. And I tell you one more thing. I'm correcting Mr. Vishnu. There is logic in arriving at 238. What happened? The solar tariff fell down drastically from 701 in Tamil Nadu. It has come down to 2 rupees 46 paise in Madhya Pradesh in Rewa. So TNR said, why should TANGEDCO pay 6 rupees to you when they can buy at 236? That's how they decided at 238. They've decided.
That is fine.
Today the tariff has fallen down to 199. So tomorrow TANGEDCO can go to TNRC, reduce 238 to 195. It is possible.
What I'm saying is, whatever we generate up to 10 kilowatt, even for commercial,
Yes.
it's our own use. They are not allowing us to use it for our own use.
Oh, they are allowed to use it. No, sir.
Sir, there's a difference between gross metering.
Sir, 1 minute. No. Sir, rooftop solar, I've installed 300 kilowatts, not 10 kilowatts. I've installed 300 kilowatts for a college for self-consumption. It is possible. I've done 30 kilowatts in 10-15 locations in Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad.
How do they charge?
When was it? Is it before 2019 or?
No, before 2019, same story. There's no difference at all. The only difference is in net metering between 2012 and 2019. Net metering is not an issue at all. We are overemphasizing on net metering. As a rooftop solar plant, I'm producing it for my consumption.
But I'm paying hell of a lot of money.
No, you are not losing a lot of money, sir. I'll do the capacity calculation for you. You'll pay zero amount. I'll do that for you. It is possible. You'll pay zero amount.
Fine. See, as per my calculation, it's supposed to be 3,000. They will charge 9,000 rupees.
No, that's a mistake.
Of course,
I want to add something here.
commercial.
So not just Ramanathan, sir. I've heard many such complaints from residents. It could be because of, like you said, that the calculation should be different, or how you install, the capacity of installation should be different. There's so many such things that the consumer need to know.
No.
So these are some.
Sir, 1 minute. Let me add here. No, let me clarify. They came out with bi-directional meter. I'm importing power. I'm exporting power. The meter takes care of everything. There's no readings at all. It gives you the net consumption. But the field formation, assistant engineers, they do not know how to read it. It took more than 6 months for them to be trained. They were not ready to read the things. So lots of wrong readings were taken. Higher amounts were paid. That's because of inefficiency or non-teaching the field personnel. That matter has been solved now.
Yeah, the people are aware. but the calculation is done at TNEB's office.
Yes.
After converting the units into rupees.
They don't know. The field formation did not know how to do it. That's why the mistake happened at that level because there's no training
These are
given at the field
ground
level.
level. So I would like
office, at AE's office.
Yes, AE himself doesn't know. Not AE, even AE doesn't know.
In spite
He was
of
not trained.
it out, in spite of my tomorrow, my hearing is coming up in Consumer Grievance Redressal Forum. They are not agreeing. In spite of my writing very clearly, I said you can't buy my power. I am generating for myself. Let me use it first. Only the excess you pay at whatever rate you decide, 199 or 0. But let me use my power for my generation.
So my contention is, you produce it, use it, don't give it. Today I am telling people, don't give it under this net metering scheme. 1 or 2 units excess you generate, you forego.
No, that's not question 1 or 2 units. The entire power that they generate, they are buying it. They are calculating at 2 rupees 38 paise and then pay their input at 10 rupees in the case of commercial. So the difference is almost 7 rupees.
Again, there's some misconception for commercial. There's no net metering. There's no net metering. There's no feed-in tariff for commercial. So 10 minus 2.3 is not at all there. Completely.
Okay, still I would like to interfere here. Maybe it's the difference between on-grid or off-grid, or maybe, like you said, it's the technicalities. Let's not get into that. But I would like to ask one thing. But before that, I would like to ask Ms. Jayanti about solar, building sustainable homes. What are the prerequisites to have a greenhouse, with solar energy, ma'am? And let's talk about it, and then we'll get into the pricing policy that's important.
Yeah. Yes, there was discussion between Vishnu and Suresh regarding Bangalore and Chennai. I will just touch upon that and answer your question.
Yes.
As I said, sir, solar water heaters in Bangalore, the climate, of course, is so much different than Chennai. Whereas in Chennai, hot water consumption is, very, very less in considering the warm, humid climate. So end of the day, using electricity, how much you're cutting off with this renewable energy should be the main, what do you say, the baseline to look at. So when you look at that, I think it is required. The policy is that way level where solar water heaters are made, certain parts are made mandatory in Karnataka is good. Similar way in Chennai, what we're looking at is reduction of electricity consumption. So coming to answering to Lasia's question, in green building as such, again, green homes, again, going for a certification and things are still not mandatory. And even renewable energy is still not a mandatory policy as such. Still, it is a voluntary basis only. And it is high time that we start calculating the rate of return or things like that, and start producing our own electricity at home, whether it is an individual home or an apartment level. And now individual homes are very minuscule. When a city is growing so rapidly with so much population, we are growing actually vertically higher, where we have less rooftop spaces. We have, and most of the apartments which you look at, so you have less roof space. Then where you can come up with your design strategies there, where you can accommodate solar panels in the design itself when you do such huge apartment complexes. So yes, there is if you look at now, individual homes are a luxury, literally a luxury segment that is enjoying in
Okay,
which has good amount of roof. Pardon?
Your voice was breaking. Is it just me or?
Okay, I think it should be the internet.
So
as I was saying, so I think they are in the luxury segment, and they should come forward to produce their own electricity, not depending on the government, and that should be the intent of individual homes when you look at. But when you look at apartment complexes and huge, that is where is the main design. And there's no policy as such in the planning from any government that says that, say, a mandatory OSR spaces or rainwater harvesting, things like that have become mandatory. Whereas not on solar, solar panels or renewable energy, which is not made mandatory. I think that is where we should move ahead, and at least certain percentage of your common area lighting, all your clubhouses and common amenity usages, those could be looked at coming under, how much renewable energy, it can be part of the design. So you can start at even at least 10%, 20%, which will directly the consumer is going to benefit in the maintenance cost, which they are going to be paying for electricity. So that is where I think Mr. Suresh wants to add something.
Yes, sir.
You're
You're
unmuted.
on mute, sir.
Mandatory is not the solution. We have rainwater harvesting is mandatory. Not even more than 10-20% has done rainwater harvesting. Many people have simply brought the pipe, left it down for the sake of taking a certification. That is not rainwater harvesting.
Correct.
Therefore, by making it mandatory, you're not going to solve the problem.
Correct.
Number two, for the apartments, technologically it is possible to do it. It is an attitudinal problem. In the flats, I will not do it. I will not allow you to do it. That is the attitude.
Correct.
It is not technological issue. It is very, very much possible you can do it.
Yes.
Now, at least they have started with common areas. I've done it in 2 places, 400 apartments, common area, lighting, lifts. We have done solar now. It has to come into the apartments also. But there are apartments, 10, 20 apartments, they can do it. Not everybody has got mega scale. It is a question of only awareness, creating a message, sending a positive message. TEDA wanted me to be appointed as the brand ambassador, but the chairman got transferred within 3 months. TEDA in the last 5 years has got 6 CMDs. So nothing is happening there. Ask Mr. Vishnu, will tell you. Even when we represented, I was part of CAG's legal representation. We have an excellent gentleman in Auroville called Dwayne Van Megan. He's a Belgian gentleman. Very, very knowledgeable. He is still representing that commercial organization also should be given the facility of net metering. There's more difference between domestic and commercial. He is still fighting the case. We are all fighting the case. We are still representing. Hopefully today or tomorrow it will come. One more restriction, net metering is available only for on-grid without battery backup. It's not available for off-grid. In Western countries, off-grid also they are allowing net metering completely. But technology has come. We are 20 years behind. But at least they made one step.
I was trying to make my point here is when you are looking at existing buildings, I'm trying to say here is when a new design itself is being started on board. That is where I'm talking about. So in that, a developer will not invest unless and until there is a policy requirement or an approval of a plan.
Gentlemen, 1 minute. I approached 6 builders. I told them there's competition now.
Invest on a solar panels in.
No, I'll tell you. I met builders. I told them use this as a golden opportunity. This is your marketing differentiator. You tell the customer, buy flat from me. Don't pay electricity for the next 20 years. Not even one builder accepted my suggestion. I went to 6 top builders in Chennai. I said, golden opportunity. This is the marketing differentiator for you. Forget legal, forget all those things. Unsold flat, you buy the flat from me, don't pay electricity for the next 20 years. They're not doing it. Lack of awareness.
Sir, when an individual can think that they can't do it as a capex investment, imagine a developer who looks at only at profit margin will not look at, yes, marketing differentiation is one, but end of the day, the square foot rate that they look at, which they will never invest in unless a policy is there. That is my point.
No. I've gone through this argument. A person is buying flat for 60 lakhs, he is willing to pay another 3 lakhs, 63 lakhs. You're not going to say 60 plus 3. I'm going to sell the flat to you at 63 lakhs, buy the flat from me, don't pay electricity. That's how we are going to market it. Easily you can market it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Suresh, sir, I agree with you. At the same time, I agree with you also, Jayanti ma'am. The both sides of a coin, yes. And so now we were looking at how pricing, how there should be a policy. Suresh sir says he's not up for it. But I think if the policy is on paper, somewhere down the line, there can be some work. Like the rainwater harvesting system also. It was on paper. It was not, the implementation was poor, but last year we saw some increase. So it can happen over the period of time. But yes, I agree with you also, sir. Yeah. You're on mute, sir. Suresh sir, you're on mute.
Frequently. Rainwater harvesting was made mandatory in Tamil Nadu 15 years ago. Today only 20, 30, 40% has come. Again, only on paper, not physically. Go and do. I've gone to so many apartments. They called me for rainwater harvesting. They simply taken the pipe and brought it down. That's all. It is not rainwater harvesting. It's not rainwater harvesting. One more thing regarding policy, I'll give one incident. Electrical vehicle, Tamil Nadu has got the policy. No electrical vehicles. You go to Northeast Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Assam, Orissa, there's no policy. Hundreds of electrical vehicles are running. Hundreds, not one or two. And there's no policy. Here we have policy, no vehicles.
Okay, I completely get your point.
Yeah.
So now I would like to, discuss more about it. So Ramanathan sir, I would like to ask you. So now we have come to a conclusion that it's not about the policy, it's something else that is stopping people from going solar. One was lack of awareness. But in that process, when we are in that discussion, Ramanathan sir, can you tell me about your experience? How did you install solar and how was your experience in getting a rooftop solar for your
Of course, being a technical man, I knew about solar long back, and we had done it almost 10 years back at our Anna University Alumni Club. So, in technical circles, it was not a problem at all. Everybody understood. I'm sure many non-technical people also are aware that solar is good, really good, and it is not a substitute. Of course, you without battery, you can't light up your house in the night. So, you have to have definitely connection with the TNEB, and export should be there, import should be there. That is there. That knowledge is available, but TNEB's policies as of today don't seem to be encouraging the solar panels. On the other hand, I would say they are discouraging by arbitrary and casual method, whatever ignorance or whatever it is. Finally, the consumer ends up paying a lot of money, much more than what he was supposed to pay. That is where the problem is. Capital cost has come down, as Mr. Suresh said very clearly. It's easy to install. It's not a problem. There are a lot of vendors who do it, and subsidy is obtained by the vendor himself from both the central or state, whatever is applicable. So that is not an issue at all. The issue is only with the government TNEB policy and implementation. They should do it correctly. That's about all. Everybody is aware.
And TANGEDCO is not interested because they are affected party. Like what happened to the mobile, BSNL, MTNL closed down.
That's
so
right.
they are they will put hurdles.
That is
They are
not
putting hurdles not to. So today, bi-direction meter is not available.
so, but that the consumer should not be allowed to pay. It should not be penalized.
No, they are not penalized. If you sir, I'll come to you. I think there's something. Amiss. You will pay zero. I'll see that you pay zero. It is possible to do that.
Lovely.
It's possible.
That will be fine.
We can do it. We can do it. We can do that.
Very good. I would like to pay zero.
Sir, again for this green building, I applied to green building to get a green building certificate. They said you have to pay 20,000 rupees. I said, boss, you should pay me 20,000 rupees, not me.
Correct.
I have solar, I got biogas, I got rainwater harvesting. I got a unique house in the world, not in India. And 9 projects in my house. In an urban house, nobody has done this. I told greenhouse people, you must compliment me, you give me a certificate, you give me money, incentive. And promote this outside. This man has done, you also do it, you will pay money. You should incentivize, not penalize.
Exactly. That's what,
Incentivization is required.
that's right.
Yeah, now since we are talking about incentives, but before that, I'm very glad that Suresh sir and Ramanathan sir.
Sorry, Lasya, just one thing I wanted to add in that I think the electricity consumer protection rules 2019, 2020 or 19 has come. That is where I think that Mr. Professor Ramanathan is saying there's a limit whereby you can be a net meter consumer that's like 10 kilowatt. Beyond that, there'll be you're a gross meter consumer. So, beyond that, you're a gross meter consumer. That basically the differentiation. I think Mr. Ramanathan was talking about the 10 kilowatt bit.
That has not been done in
That is
Tamil Nadu.
all. Everybody, just one second.
Below 10
Just one
kilowatts being charged.
One second.
No, sir, there is one more rule. Vishnu, there's one more rule. Any commercial building above 10 floors compulsorily must have solar. Now what they put one panel. They put one panel. Put it here and there. I'll tell you the joke. Here and the apartments, I was invited. They got 400 apartments. They got 2.5 kilowatts for 400 apartments. Naam ke vaste put panel, take a chapa, matter is over.
So
Where is
just
400 apartments? Where is 2.5 kilowatts?
There is
yes,
no
sir.
more.
That's exactly why I'm telling there should be a policy mandate at the approval level, sir. If you
There is
don't
policy
mandate that, people
There's
will
policy
find out
mandate.
these kind of, the developers will
Uh-huh.
surely find this kind of loopholes.
There is
That is
policy
exactly
mandate
why I'm
about
telling.
about 10 floors you must have solar panel. They put a panel. 2.5 kilometers.
That's what exactly. If a policy level is correctly set that you have, say, this is your connected load, this is your common area connected load. For this load, 10%, 20%, you have to have solar panels in your apartment. That is the kind of
We'll
policy
overcome
level.
that also. We'll find some we'll overcome that also. Incentivization.
I would like to
Then you incentivize the, you give us an this thing to the
Even incentive, exactly.
developer where you give him a 0.5, 0.1% extra FSI. That is the kind of thing that will motivate the developers to invest in the residential sector. Commercial is a different case as such totally.
Forget developers, individuals. Today, Telangana and Gujarat, they get 30% subsidy. It is given by central government, MNRE. Tamil Nadu also is available.
It is very niche, sir. You don't go on a mass segment. You are looking at the overall electricity consumption in a city and a state level. When you have to reach to the masses, individuals is a very, very small sector. We will not achieve our intent in that.
Yeah. Today, we are eligible for 30% subsidy from MNRE. Yes, but for that, TEDA has to go. TEDA is not going. Gujarat is getting, Telangana is getting. We are eligible for that. We are not getting it. But TEDA has to go with a report. There's one, Sardarji was a CMD. 3 months he got it. For some unceremonious reason, he was removed. Then further, somebody has come, they have stopped. You have to go with the begging bowl to MNRE with a project report. This is what I'll do. This is what I'll guarantee. Give me this. Even today, Gujarat is getting it. Telangana is getting it. I can do 1 kilowatt at 45,000 rupees. Here it is costing me 65,000 rupees. Completely.
Okay. One second. I would like to interrupt here for a bit. I'm sorry for the interruption. First thing is, I would request you to because since it is streaming online on Facebook, can we just have one speaker at a time so that it would be, those who are watching the stream on Facebook can also be able to understand what the discussion is about. That's one thing. And Sir Suresh, sir, this is a question for you. Let's forget about the policy. What do you think is a solution for the uptake of solar energy? Since you said policy is not a big deal.
Huge solution. People like Citizens Matter who conduct weekly awareness campaign. I will come in and talk to people. You have to create an awareness, positive awareness, not negative awareness, positive awareness. Do this, this is the benefit. You don't calculate return on investment. There is a return. There is a 15-16% return is there. But even then, I will not talk about return. You are buying equipment like air conditioner, car, TV, washing machine. Do you ever calculate the return on investment? You don't do it. Create an awareness. TEDA should do it. They are not doing it. Let Citizens Matter do it. CA do it. Rotary clubs do it. I have addressed 300 associations last 6 years. I've done 40-50 installations. Today, my 3 installations are going on in Chennai and 1 in Hyderabad. Today, 5 kilowatts to 6 kilowatts, individual houses. It's happening. I've demonstrated. Only marketing, only awareness.
That's a very good point, sir. I'm sure you have also personally sensitized many people. It's evident from your work. So I would like to ask the same question to other panelists. Ramanathan, sir, what is your solution? What do you think is the solution for the uptake of solar energy?
Is it regarding awareness? Are you talking about awareness or?
It could be anything, sir. What do you think is a solution for increased rooftop solar in Chennai?
Yeah, so the manufacturers or distributors or the people who are installing the system should join together and pressurize the government to, first of all, make a proper policy and see that the consumer is justifiably benefited. See, we are not talking about the rate at which he should be buying the power, but whatever he generates, he should use. The excess power, let the government buy it whatever rate they want. But denying them the utilization of their own power, for example, generator set. If you have a generator set, government is not going to come in and charge you for that. What about that's a polluting thing, whereas solar doesn't pollute. So actually, they should be encouraging solar with the incentives, at least by not charging at the commercial rate. That net metering should be reintroduced. In some cases, net metering is still there in Madras. I know my friend's house or office, they have net metering. There is no separate reading for export and import. So that kind of duality or unfairness should not be there. So all people concerned, including the distributors, should form a union or some association and pressurize the government for better policies. Otherwise, it's not going to work. That's my point. All of us should join together. And also to encourage, of course. See, now I think awareness is quite a bit. I'm not sure if the rural side is aware, but what I understand from some of the distributors, rural side also there are a lot of people who installed the solar system, big ones, not small ones, domestically and otherwise. Yes.
Okay, sir. That's a wonderful point. So, since you've also mentioned about the incentive schemes, I would like to ask your personal experience. Have you benefited from the Chief Minister Solar Power Scheme, incentive scheme,
Not at all.
capital?
I have not benefited at all. That's what I'm trying to. I'm crying. Tomorrow I'm going for the consumer redressal forum. I've only paid 1,000 rupees less than usual rate. That is no good. No, I installed 10 kilowatts, slightly less than 10 kilowatts to be fair, and I've been charged, unfairly treated, I would say.
Okay, sir. So, I would like to ask the same question to Vishnu. What do you think is a solution to escalate rooftop solar in Chennai? I know CAG has been in the front of sensitizing people, but is that just enough, or do you think we have to do more towards that? Vishnu, you're on mute, sir.
CAG's work basically focuses on three things. One is we do awareness, lot of awareness programs. We have conducted probably around 1,000 awareness programs in the districts. So in different areas, because we have 7 electricity consumer cells at the district level, where their only job is to resolve consumer complaints, whether it is solar or agri or regular meter connection, etc. We also do. They also do rooftop solar, where they bring in an installer to kind of go through the different consumer categories. Basically, it could be commercial, residential, agricultural. We do demo kits for them to at least see what the solar panels are and how they can go about installing it. So we've done it across 7 districts, more than 2,000 to 3,000 consumers. We've got kind of a thing. Then we also shared with you the knowledge products. We do a number of knowledge products in rooftop solar, and we have created a standard operating procedure on how to install rooftop solar in a normal house. So to look at the different steps and what is it that a consumer should look out for. I've shared it with you, Rasya. You could probably put it in the group if it is possible.
We will send out the webinar. Yes.
Yeah. And we also conduct a lot of capacity. Mr. Suresh has been part of a couple of our capacity building programs on rooftop solar, where we talk to the media. We educate the media. Our job is to educate the media and bring them on board for this whole solar journey, so they can demystify this entire work and tell the public in a proper manner. We talk to the regulators, we talk to the different to TANGEDCO, TEDA, lots of people. I think the idea of in terms of bringing about awareness and all that, it's all fine. End of the day, we should be cognizant of the fact that there's a utility there. It's like a big big animal in the room. So we'll have to be a little bit aware about the way he is going to react to this losing his revenue. Is there a way that he can be, I'll be very frank here, is there a way where he can be compensated for somebody leaving the grid? I'm putting rooftop solar, I will not pay TANGEDCO anymore, and they will be the next BSN or MTNL, like, so to speak. Is there a way we can get the, see, again, there's a huge difference between the way you see the rainwater harvesting and the way you see rooftop solar. Rainwater harvesting is a structure that's put below the ground. There's an incentive about ourselves to be part of that thing, where we don't get drought during the times of drought, where we don't feel that we are not dependent on a utility like water board to supply us water. But in terms of this, but the utility there, the water board does not lose revenue. Here, the utility loses revenue. It's very much. If you see the actual way, the entire government distribution companies across the India are all losing money, either through inefficiency or through people not being part of the moving away from the grid through open access, HT consumers. There's a lot of things going on. So there's bound to be a resistance against this thing. So the idea is to bring the utility on board, to have a discussion with them, to take them along this journey, and to say this transition is inevitable, and they should be part of this whole transitionary process. Otherwise, if you feel that you're going to resist the utility, I think it will take a longer time than usual, which is of course going to be against everybody's interest. That's my.
Okay, okay. So, sir, Ramanathan, sir, do you want to add something to it? You're on mute. Ramanathan, sir, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
TANGEDCO and TNEB should increase their efficiency. There are a lot of losses due to so many reasons. Some of them are not mentionable in print or whatever. See, their own efficiency, transmission loss, distribution loss, theft, all those things should be cut off. That itself will give them a lot of revenue. This is not the way to, to overcome their inefficiency. Charging the customer more is not the solution. See, private companies are doing well efficiency. BSNL also same problem. They are inefficient. For one telephone line, 5 people used to come, for repairing and all that. That's kind of overstaffing and inefficiency, not doing the work properly. Those things should be improved. Automatically, the revenue will go up. Of course, if once everybody gets solar, their revenue will come down. They have to. I don't know. I don't have a solution for that. That is for them to think, not for me.
Okay. Okay, sir, I get your point. Now, Jayanti, ma'am, this is a question for you. So, is space actually a constraint for rooftop solar? If yes, how do you, what are the ways to?
Space is actually not a constraint at all. I will put it in a nutshell, it's a thumb rule which everybody knows by now. If not, they should be knowing by now. At least minimum required is 100 square feet or less than that for 1 kilowatt. When you go a little more higher kilowatt, this even more it could be optimized, this 100 square foot. Say up to 5 kilowatt can happen within 400 to 450 square foot. You can do a 5 kilowatt, for a 5 kilowatt, which any individual home ranges between 3 kilowatt to 5 kilowatt is their total connected load that comes to an individual home. So a 300 to 400 square foot of terrace space, which is not shaded from trees or any other structures, So that is the effective space we are looking at. And this could be easily in your, and this, if you even look at, don't just look at this as a dedicated space only for solar panel. It can be integrated even part of your architectural design. It could be a parking space which you're covering up with a temporary structure, or even in a terrace, a garden space with a structure like a trellis or a pergola which you're planning. So, and even it can also be a shading device or a canopy design which can be integrated with the solar panels in the very beginning at the design level. If it is an existing building, you can see at your rooftop so that the space below the solar panel also becomes a usable space for you in the terrace if you're looking at. So in space I don't think space is a constraint at all. But in apartments, yes, when you go vertically, how much load you're going to offset when you go vertically higher, how much percentage of load you're going to offset. That is when you look at the huge amount of space for that kind of megawatt power that we are looking at. In industries and other commercial places, roof terraces are available. But vertical, when you're growing, vertical is where the space needs to be looked at. If it is looked at a very initial stage, all your open covered parking or walkways that you want to cover, all this part of design could be looked at, solar panel, wherever possible it could accommodate. Yes, there is an efficiency involved in it where how much it is facing the sun. Yes, certain percentage of efficiency might go down if the location is not appropriate, but still you're getting an output out of it. That is the attitude to be put towards, in request to space. I would like to add on just a minute here for a common man, if they're, part of this, to understand this. Rooftop solar, we have been talking for quite some time, and this is coming from nothing but how the government is trying to, I think, do it is, it is from the climate change Paris agreement that has been signed, and how much you want to go, invest in renewable energy on overall. The India itself has committed to certain megawatt by 2030 and 2050, and that is transferred into a mid, thresholds to every state, given a threshold to reach. And that's where this rooftop comes under. By 2020, so much megawatt, we are looking at around 4,000 megawatt, if I'm correct. We're looking at to attain at rooftop solar. So this is the policy on overall. But yes, there could be certain hiccups which we have been discussing through this, implementing it and addressing it. There are a few hiccups which exactly 100% the benefit might not go into it. But as citizens, I think we should put our front forward. There is no looking back. You will surely benefit from it. There is no doubt about it, which Mr. Suresh has been telling from the beginning. Please don't look at it. Yes, rate of return is a concern for everybody who is planning in the very initial stages, but I don't think so. It should be if it is planned correctly, designed correctly, you will be paying 0 rupees end of the day. Nothing would go out of your pocket. That is what you need to be looking at. Yes, there is an initial investment, and you will quickly make out of it. You will not even remember it. As he's saying, you're buying cars these days, you're seeing electric cars, electric bikes. So solar panels should be like, yes, I'm owning a solar panel as well. That is the kind of attitude we should go towards. Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that's what we have been wanting to listen, that that it's very cost effective. That's what it is eventually. So Suresh sir, I have a question for you, but before that, I would ask all the participants or the audience to post their questions on the chat box. We will be asking the panelists. You can even text whom you want to ask this question for, and they will be glad to answer. So we'll have a question and answer session after this question to Suresh sir. Sir, can you tell us about your experience in getting the incentives, because that seems to be a problem for many.
There's no problem at all. Dealing with the government, any segment for any issue is a major issue, but still our life is going on, carrying on. There are no roads, there are no water, no drainage, everything we are providing ourselves completely. Go ahead and do it. Regarding the return today, an on-grid system, that is without the battery backup, it's about 15 to 16% in today's cost. But overall, if the tariff increases, your return also is going to increase. You are going to save more completely. For the commercial setup, the return is about 20 to 25%. In the off-grid system, where you are going to invest in battery is also producing electricity in the evening. That also we are saving it. People do not realize it. So even in the off-grid system, with the battery cost, the return is about 15 to 60% completely. Only thing is the battery needs to be changed every 4 or 5 years, but that cost can be factored in. There is a return of 15 to 60% in the off-grid system also. Originally, it was only off-grid. Then on-grid came in. Nothing original. This is what they do it in Europe. I traveled a lot in Germany and Spain. I told this to TEDA, why don't you take my excess during the daytime? Sudeep Jain came out with this net metering scheme completely. Okay. It is possible, it is affordable, there is a return on investment is there. Definitely it is there.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Now let's take questions. Yeah, please, sir.
See, I used to travel a lot in Germany 15-20 years ago for my work. I saw individual houses rooftop. A country without sunshine, if they can do it, why we cannot do it? That triggered my idea. 10 years ago, when I wanted to install, components were not available, vendor was not available, yet I went there. Even Google was not available on that day. Today you can get all your answers in Google. Even then, I installed it at a very high. My 1 kilowatt cost me 3 lakhs in 2012. I invested 3 lakhs to do it. I'm now reaping the benefits. My entire house is on solar, including 2 air conditioners. I installed inverter ACs 10 years ago. Inverter ACs are very expensive.
Yeah.
So inverter ACs, they came in handy when I wanted to install solar. So it is possible to do it even today. Again, CAG is doing a wonderful job. They are doing much more than the government is doing in terms of creating awareness through media, others. CAG should be focusing more. Now, citizen matter, you also take it up. You address customers,
Definitely.
public, completely.
Thank you. Jayanti ma'am, you have something to add to this?
Yeah, as Mr. Suresh was talking about air conditioning, I would like to add one point here in regards to, again, when we look at apartments and how the communities have to come forward, the resident welfare associations, when they look at it, you imagine we are using now in Chennai at least 70-80% without ACs. It's become really a tough time for living in kind of the concrete jungle we are in. So at least minimum 4 to 5 tons of air conditioning is there in any 3 BHK apartment. Imagine 1,000 apartment in a township, So that becomes like 5 tons in a home, at least 4 to 5 tons in a home, in one house. 1,000 houses is like 5,000 tons of refrigeration, 5,000 tons of air conditioning we're using. So much CO2 emissions we are looking at. The communities needs to come forward to go, depend on renewable energy for these kind of energy consumption. And we are, that is the way to move forward. Never stop looking at, rate of return alone,
Particular weightage for pollution.
the CO2 emissions are very we are looking at.
It will go up further, yes.
So that is the kind we need to.
That's actually a very interesting point. In fact, my next question was about it, since it's not just about being affordable or our own profits, but it's also about the clean air, the clean energy. Sorry. So that's what you have mentioned here. Thank you so much. So Suresh sir, you were adding something.
Learning from BSNL and MTNL where they lost out to mobile. Here you incentivize it. Every rooftop I pay 5% to Tangetco.
Okay.
They are the utility supplier. Why should they vanish? And Tangetco is making the highest losses in India. Tamil Nadu is making the highest losses in India. You incentivize them. I'll pay you 5%. You give me net metering tomorrow morning. They are delaying 6 months. There's a delay for net meter today. The bi-directional meter.
TNEB were losing even before solar systems came. They have been losing all the time.
Exactly.
That is nothing to do with solar.
Sir, let's take the questions now. We have some questions from the participants. I'll start with a question from Mr. Sendil. He says there's too much of information about the types of panel and efficiency. How do we select a panel type which is reliable and efficient? Who want to? Yeah. Yes, sir. Suresh sir, go ahead.
Today, choices are available in everything. You want to buy a mobile phone, you don't know what to buy. You want to buy a scooter, you do not know what to buy. You want to buy a car, you do not know what to buy. Same story is with solar. It's nothing to do with solar. Go to a good vendor, get a good guidance and go ahead. Today, you want to buy a mobile. Can you buy a mobile? 1,000 alternatives are available. You want to buy a car, 1,000 alternatives are available. Completely. In fact, I'm a marketing man. I'm saying more choices. People are delaying buying. It is adding to recession. Less number of choices. There's only AB. Those days when I grew up, there's only 3 cars were available. Fiat, Ambassador. That's all. I had to buy only one and wait for 8 years to buy a car. Today, Mercedes is available on the roadside. They're in the beach. They put up a umbrella. Sign up for test drive. Like selling where color they are selling Mercedes.
Mr. Suresh, there's a question by somebody, admin iPhone, saying that net metering in TN is applicable to all LT customers, including commercials up to 112 kilowatt, other than hut and agriculture tariff. I don't know that. I think there's a spelling mistake. So what's your comment on that?
So,
Yeah, that's the way it's put in the order, TNERC order. For LT consumers until 112 kilowatts is what.
Available for LT consumers, not for HT consumers.
I know, but
So some LT consumers are paying commercial tariff. Like if you take all the schools, they're paying commercial tariff.
okay,
All the temples are paying commercial tariff. They're LT.
they're not applicable, is it? That
No, it's applicable.
net metering.
Net metering is, sir, net metering is applicable for some schools, not applicable for many schools. They'll go with the category of the meter. They've got 5 categories of meters. Those days, 30, 40, 50 years back, nobody knew what was the meter. So some schools adopted some meter, they're eligible. Other schools adopted newly, they're not eligible.
I don't think they adopted. TNEB pushed it on them. They
Exactly,
would have known. See, TNEB is discriminating. Old
Not-
networks have net metering, new.
No,
new
sir, not, sir.
networks
I'll not use the word discriminating.
Hmm.
As technology is evolving, they went on coming out with the new meters.
But then one customer pays less, one customer pays more.
Exactly, sir. Today,
That's not fair. For the same purpose.
so we go by the category of the meter. First question we ask any institution, go, what is the meter category? Then we'll tell you whether net metering is available to you or not. It's not, and only LT, no HT, only
Category,
LT.
excuse me, Mr. Sir. Category of meter should not matter.
It should not matter. We are representing that. CAG
Yeah,
is
yeah.
we are
Category
representing.
because of technology. Today, tomorrow,
Yeah,
better meter will come.
We have
So-
made a representation. CAG is made a representation. It is lying in the court. Matter is in the court now.
Okay.
Completely.
Okay, okay.
Which code?
So that's something, yeah. So let's take the next question. So there's a question from Raj. He's asking if any of the panelists could refer any good vendors. I think TEDA has a list of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Vishnu sir, do you want to add to it?
See, we can't name any vendors here.
About the vendors?
Don't
No,
go to
CAG
don't
has
go to
put
any
a
vendor
standard
listed in
operating
data.
procedure for rooftop solar. There are a set of parameters a consumer can check before selecting a vendor or after selecting a vendor. If there is a warranty, if there is a panel, what are the things that you need to check in when you buying a panel, for example. So there are things, rather than asking for a vendor, you rather get yourself a checklist and a set of parameters that you need a consumer can use due diligence on. I think we can share
I think,
that.
yeah. Yes, that's a good point. So what we need to be knowing is how do we choose a good vendor? What are the parameters in the checklist? And Vishnu has already shared the data with me. We will be sharing it out immediately after the webinar. So any other questions? Let me just check. So there's something we've already discussed, but if there's something else as a responsible citizen can do to promote solar, rooftop solar, what should that be? That's a question from one of the audience.
What is the question? Sorry.
The question is, what can I do? What can a citizen do to spread awareness about rooftop solar panel?
First, you install it. Let your area people know that you have done it.
So just
Charity
to add,
begins from home.
point.
So you start.
Because just to go, CAG has installed rooftop solar, 4 kilowatt rooftop solar in our own office in Alvarpet, and as it's we see it as a demo come our own usage kind of thing. So we regularly have sessions with college students. They come for a couple of hours. We invite them. They sit down. Then they go around seeing the solar panel. We give them a presentation on it. So there is a touch and feel kind of a system, like Mr. Suresh was saying, where when you see it, you'll be able to better judge how it works and all that. So Alvarpet, come to Alvarpet. I will share the address also. Not a problem.
Okay, so I think
Schools, schools, colleges have visited me 200, 300, 400 people in bunches completely. So we are, one more information I'm sharing, during the Varda cyclone, 6 days there was power cut in the city. I had power all the 6 days. Mobile is a lifeline. Everybody came home for charging their mobile. 6th day morning they got power, everybody vanished. In my locality, not even one person has installed solar, in spite of seeing what I've done. How do you explain? Very difficult.
sure, sir. Okay, sir. So I think we have had an informative session. We kind of unbusted the myths. We learned a lot, and I'm glad that Suresh sir and Ramanathan sir found each other. I'm sure Suresh sir will help you, sir, about the calculation. So thank you so much for the participation, and we'll be sending out the required material to the audience immediately after the session. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ramanathan sir, share me your mobile number. I'll try to talk to you separately.
I will do that, sir.